Hello, everyone. This is Miss Kenita Patterson, the homeless CEO, and I want to talk about some today. It's been on my mind for a minute now, but as you can see, storytelling time is up there, and I want to talk about what I always come up with a name for something. That's what I am, a visionary. So I'm always hearing something from the Holy Spirit. I don't come up with none of my ideas. The Holy Spirit does. So the quiet loud syndrome is something that have seen for since before I even was born. Um, it goes way back. Let me see. Hey, how you doing? So good to see you. I'm gonna finally get outside with y'all here close coming up. I had to see who that was. Um, but talking about the quiet loud syndrome is something that and I don't exclusively think it's something that is tied to women only. Um, but as a female black founder, I can speak to this, and I have been seeing it across other female leaders, and we're expected to be quiet and kind of loud at the same time, but at the same time, you can't say exactly what you're feeling, or you kind of get I don't want to say ridicule, but that's the line of words I'm thinking of. Because example, I'm gonna give an example because it's a reason I'm talking about this, and I don't ever say names of who I'm talking about, but I do bring forth the issues and speak on it because we need to tell the stories of poverty and homelessness and anything that is, stemming that in a systemic manner. Um, And what I feel like about that, because I was chosen to do something with a particular group, and it went kind of cold, and I didn't get any correspondence back. And that has happened to me several times before. Not anything that I said other than the truth, because again, I don't run around giving out names of what has happened to me behind the scenes. And we know from current happenings in Tennessee that it's happening, that I'm not just saying what I'm saying, that I literally lived through it. And there are some players behind the scenes that I know are involved in some things, like infiltration and things of that nature that stifles us as a community. So, and it creates those silos. People will say, oh, don't fool with her over there. I have watched people do that. Like, a person's name would come up and they would be like, oh no, this person is basically shunned from the village. I've literally seen, and it wasn't by anybody that looks like me, right? So I've seen that several times, even after the fact of them knowing that I saw this, they did it again in my face. And I'm like, really? You know that I know what you do, and you are so bold, so emboldened to continue to do it. When we speak about it, it's that situation where people are like, okay, whatever, or your peers don't hear you, or it ends up that quiet space like I just encountered. And I was so ecstatic about being a part of, and that has happened several times, being so excited about being a part and knowing that you are a unicorn voice, as a Nashville native, to feel so unwelcome in your own city and town in the things that you are engaging in, and trying to be a trailblazing difference in the place, which I could say that in the background is going down. Like, I think I did a 12-hour shift yesterday working with tenants and hopping on emergency meetings, trying to make sure. And I feel like too with that, with Faces of Hood Housing Unity Project, right? We have a May Day coming up where the tenants will be speaking out, and that is, um, I don't want to say in collaboration, but it is going to be aligned with getting that input to Marsha Foot. Rather she's on there or to hear the real voices of the tenants. And I think that's phenomenal as a fellow female Black leader to hear the people. Um, and I think we should be free to do so and be able to be heard without ridicule. And when we speak our truth, it is not for you to reprimand us and take us off of the things that our voice is needed or stifled in already. So that's my thing. I've been wanting to kind of speak on that because we take the brunt of everything. We're always taking care of everybody, most likely more on the side of not even taking care of ourselves, but a lot of us have realized that and started to change that narrative too of self-care. Um, so it's so much. I just want to say, don't assume anything about anybody. Do not take what anybody else tells you about a person and then, treat that person a certain kind of way. And the thing about the situation I'm talking about, the same thing had happened to that person before. So what I spoke on, I feel like I was pulled back because if what I'm talking about really gets out to the fact of me starting to drop names and such, it'll tear a lot of stuff down in Nashville. And that's not even what I want. I want to be able to order for one thing, because when I am at a job that has employment or whatever, I'm paying in taxes. So it's kind of that contradictory thing where people say, "Oh, you getting food stamps, you living off the government." No, I paid into that too. You got to look at it a different angle and have an open mind about things. And I am going a place in whoever would have me, in their spaces and places to a point where you feel welcome and not you don't feel a type of way when you are interacting with people. It shouldn't be that. And I'm a part of some organizations that I've never felt that, and I'm so glad to have been able to heal through those processes of the cohorts that are provided and fellowships that are provided. And I have some big backing on some capacity building. I'm so grateful for that. And grateful for where we are going behind the scenes. I don't put a lot of pictures out right now because guess what? I feel like I'm transitioning from the foundational phase to that capacity building. And in the interim, the focus and priorities are different from what it would look like to anyone else. So that's a part of that quiet, loud syndrome. Like sometimes I will be out of about what I'm doing, and sometimes I got to go behind the scenes and get quiet just because that's how we got to navigate as a Black female founder. And that's another thing too, for so many of my peers to know what has happened, and for them to be involved in what they are involved in, and seeing what has happened in Tennessee. I just feel like we could stick together way better than we do right now and protecting each other. And that is something that is one of those, what do you call it? Part of the whole systemic thing to keep us siloed and apart is doing this job systemically. Um, but I just want to see us care for each other in a manner where, love is put first and not anything else, not what any outsider says or does, because they are here to infiltrate us, y'all. Better know it and believe it. And I'm gonna speak the truth. Um, I'm not gonna be saying anything that's harmful towards anybody to try to tear anybody down. That's the last thing, because that's what's being done to us. So why would I want to do that to anybody? But I do speak on it, must speak on it. And yeah, I'm excited about being able to go outside and kind of, it's been really rough and tough since I want to say December. I was in a space and place of being rebirthed then. And I really feel like that on April the 9th, I transitioned into some, I don't want to say something else, fully into kingdomship is where I ended up being. And it emboldened me even more. It made me more emboldened. And it gave me this worship and posture and prayer and boldness that I have never experienced and felt before. And a lot of people don't know the work that I do so very deeply. Um, is all volunteer. I don't have a regular 9 to 5 right now because it must align with what God is doing. I'm not being any type of way. I'm not being anything other than I know that's what he told me to do. And he provided the transition out of where I was, the 9 to 5 kind of you working for to build their dreams. Let's just say that, right? Um, and it is not even my dream that I'm building. I'm building kingdom wise for the glory of God, and that's it. So just wanted to get that out there because I feel a lot of things, and it is just so heavy to see my fellow sisters kind of being beat up on in life, and I know what that feels like, and I know what it feels like for someone to turn their head while it's happening to you too. So just want to put that out there for us to be there for each other, and no matter what anybody's in our ear, especially the ones that look like me, let's stop doing that to each other. I see a little I see little petty competitions and things of that nature going on. That's dead. It been dead. It has. So there's too much going on that leaves us unprotected. We need to remain protected together. And that's another thing, because I just heard this in the Holy Spirit. When someone's not able to support or get out there, don't assume that they not there for you. Just know that they might have something going on themselves. Ain't no telling, there's a lot going on in the background. So you never know what's going on with a person. Just extend grace and mercy, kindness and love. Them fruits of the spirit, that's all you really need to be about. Fruits of the spirit. Blessing and uplifting the next person, and reaching back and helping your brethren up, not knocking them down. That part, I really wish we could conclude that that is not helpful to us. And then guess who suffers behind us? The generation behind us. Which, yeah, I'm not even gonna get on that subject. Because I have a perspective. I might do a video about the child and teacher fight. I just pray over that baby, that whatever upbringing she had, that's, I don't want to say it's none of our business, because as a village it is our business, but then not to the fact of tearing her down. She needs somebody right now. And like people said, her getting her phone back Um, People are wondering why she got her phone back, but then you don't know the upbringing on anybody throughout that family line. So that's where is we need to help, not hinder anybody. And that whole situation should not have happened to either of them. It just was a bad situation on both sides. And I just really pray because I heard something in the spirit about the little baby. So I pray her mind up, and that it is not a different type of attack from somewhere that we most times don't pay attention to principalities that come for us, and situations like that can turn out a different way just from her not feeling supported. um, and it I feel like it can be a way to provide guidance for anybody that's troubled. I was a troubled youth, and y'all wouldn't even imagine how. Not I wasn't running around doing stuff to people, but I was super mean because something happened to me as a 5-year old and I had no idea what happened to me. So therefore it kept going and stemming and building into this little monster. You hear me? That's why I can have empathy for people like her. And then I want to have an empathy for the battlefield of the mind as well, because I know how that goes. As someone that was deeply troubled as a youth, my heart is there. My heart is in housing. My heart is in sexual abuse. My heart is in domestic violence. My heart is in teen pregnancy and youth parents and building them up to where they can raise their children as a whole family. So everything that I've gone through has been on purpose, on kingdom purpose. And I just see things different, a different perspective. So just don't, when people see things differently or they speak differently, they are not coming like you, don't drop them, like hotcakes. Because really, that thing that I was a part of was going to be creating some stuff, and they just dropped off communication. I'm like, okay, are we gonna meet again or whatever? And it was like, oh, we're not doing it anymore. I know what happened. Every time I hear that or someone abruptly stops fooling with me, I know as an ex black token what it is, because people behind the scenes will tell people about you and it won't be a bit of it true. And they won't come and find out from you. That's the thing. They won't come and ask me. You see how I'm talking right now. This is how I am. I'm very approachable. Come to me. Yeah. Don't ask your neighbor. And then that's the same across the board for everybody. Everybody's going through something. We just read that was in the Bible in one of the sermons we just heard, how everyone is going through something. That's why that BIBLE, the basic instructions before leaving Earth, is so important. And people will try to find a way to add, take away, make it this is the white man's Bible. And like, no, that's twisting everything, the word. And it's really very valuable. All the different stories. And I find myself oftentimes, I feel like I speak in parables by being misunderstood, but really it's what the Holy Spirit is giving me, and it's clarity for me, but it'll look foreign to someone that's not supposed to read those scribes. We are living epistles. So we're like that next wave, really. I'm like, who documenting this? Because you know how they say the revolution won't be televised. It sure is right now. I see it. And the thing is, I talked about this on I Have a Testimony, how at the top of the pandemic, I saw a big old boat turning around, and that was the paradigm shift. And what had happened, when we all got stimulus, even to my own story, I can attest how that was helpful to start a business for me. And people started to see how getting out of that office, exactly what I'm talking about. I didn't do that then. I was working a little bit after the fact. I was working at a hotel, and they had just opened back up after they had built it. It was brand spanking new when the pandemic started. But I'm gonna go on and go. I said my piece, and that's I had to come and say that because it's a lot of us out here suffering. I could feel it in my belly. Is how I could feel how us black women feel, and we're at the core of everything. We were taught how black is the only color that can produce every other color. That's us. And we have a womb. We are birthing nations, and we birth so much and then feel so unappreciated because of how people are, just how they don't operate in the fruits of the spirit, period. Because you don't stop and think how if you smile at a person, it'll help their day. If you compliment a person, if you share what they got going on, those are free things you could do to help a person. Sharing, talk, mention their name if something comes up about, you know what I mean? Like, it's not hard. And I do that for people without any expectation in return. I do not expect anything from anybody when I'm sharing, or I'm just happy to see that they are doing good. That's a blessing to see. And I'm excited for every single person I see going upward, upward bound. Thinking about the crab in the barrel syndrome is what I call it. I have a lot of syndromes I talk about that are related to those, sayings that we grew up in, stories we learned about growing up. But the crabs in a barrel is something that's really a natural phenomenon. If you put the crabs in a barrel, in a crate, they are going to fight each other to try to get up and out of there because they're not in their natural habitat. We learned this in church during the top of the pandemic. Mr. Eugene was teaching us about ourselves, and that was so pivotal to activating who we are. And I learned so much. I'm gonna be writing when I'm hearing something intellectual like that. Fine, I love it. And then when the crabs get in the water, they don't have to do any of that. They're just navigating their natural environment. That's us, y'all. And if you think about it, I saw somebody that was like, okay, if the United States is trillions in debt, why do we have credit? I just want my birth certificate back, right? USA. That's all. Simply give us, if you ain't gonna reparate us, simply give us them 40 acres and a mule. You can give us the cash for the mule. We'll figure that other part out. If we got to till the ground ourselves. I haven't seen people do all kind of things to get that ground ready. But it's like give us access to the tools, and what I go through behind the scenes, it's only blocking me from the tools because I'm gonna produce a real solution. It's not any other reason. It's not I need to do anything different. No, it's because that a person with lived experience is gonna provide real poverty solutions. So please stop that. It's like stop that. Come on, y'all. Bye bye, everyone. Much love.